Correctly mentioned yoga. Of course, I mean, there was a time when we had lost the relevance, but now, thanks to our government and thanks to all the initiatives around it, I believe 150 plus countries in the world now practice yoga, and it is an internationally recognized form of science for human health. With that background, I'd like to welcome for the special address, Dr. Ishwar Basavareddy. Dr. Ishwar Basavareddy is the director of Moraji Desai Institute of Yoga from the Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Dr. Ishwar, I'd request you to give your address today for the session.
We do have Dr. Reddy. I think he is just logging in the uh, video thing and all. I can see him on the screen.
Dr.
Yes,
Ishwar,
namaste. Yes, madam.
namaskar.
Namaste,
Namaskar,
madam.
Dr. Ishwar.
Namaste. Sorry, I am traveling. I'm just passing the ghats. Yes, please
Uh-huh.
continue, madam.
Yeah, no, we request you to give your special address on the today's
Yeah,
session on yoga for well-being, Dr. Ishwar.
yes, madam. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. My pronouns to all the dignitaries and eminent experts present on the dais and joining through various social media platforms. Also, my pranams to all the yoga enthusiasts, yoga lovers who are joining this webinar through various social media platforms. I'm sorry, just I'm traveling and I do hope that I might have reached some station. I can speak better. But I take this opportunity first congratulate and thank the Ashitom for taking this initiative to participate in the yoga event. Morning, I saw it was a wonderful session. So I saw in the YouTube and I enjoyed thoroughly. I congratulate the whole Ashitom team, particularly Payalji and all other members. Second one is every year Ashitom is a major partner with MDNY and Ministry of Ayush in the celebration of IDY, all the activities. Last time also we did 5 programs together. This time, Honorable Prime Minister would like to emphasize on tourism. We have many iconic places and historical places and heritage sites. So that's why don't you conduct the yoga program pre-events in various iconic cities and historic in the backyard and put it on the global map. So we have started 100 days countdown program. So accordingly, now more than 50 programs are over with a huge success. Thousands of people are joining in each program. This has become a very great momentum for the IDY 2022. So this will lead to on as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav on 21st June. So we are going to have 75 iconic and heritage sites simultaneously, where each organization, one central ministries, and state government, and uh, eminent personalities like sports stars, film stars are going to participate so that it will become a huge public moment. So we are planning for a big way, and I do hope Ashichom will take a major step and identify one very good iconic place of historical importance. And so that on that day, whatever you are going to practice, it will become a global event. Third one is this time Guardian Ring from the Japan to North America. So we are starting the from the sunrise to sunset. So every time zone we are conducting 16 or more programs. So that is the event. Like this, we have a series of yoga events are being conducted. My request, a simple request to Ashichom is to why don't you identify 75 sub programs from Ashichom itself? And in, suppose I give an example, Indian Post. So they started doing it, and accordingly, so started doing it, and now the main program is being done, but at the same time, 50,000 post offices directly participate given day. So it's a huge participation all the postal offices in the entire India. So like this in the all the Ashichom branches in you do your association. So make it 75 that it will be a, one of the major event for the be noted by the ministry and honorable prime minister. So then the target of 25 crores or more to join on that day will be fruitful. Then last point, why we need all these things. So whoever practice yoga regularly for 40 minutes, research shows and the tradition also inform that. So we eat well. So we die well. We circulate well. We absorb well. We circulate well. So this is the thing what we are observing. The metabolism, all activities are always the appropriate sleeping yoga lovers for joining this webinar through various social media platforms. I'm sorry, just I'm traveling and I do hope that I might have reached some station. I can speak better. But I take this up first, congratulate and thank the Ashitom for taking this initiative to participate in the yoga event. Morning, I saw it was a wonderful session. So I saw in the YouTube and I enjoyed thoroughly. I congratulate the whole Ashitom team, particularly Payalji and all other members. Second one is this time every year Ashitom is a major partner with MDNY and Ministry of Ayush in the celebration of IDY, all the activities. Last time also we did 5 programs together. This time, Honorable Prime Minister would like to emphasize on tourism. We have many iconic places and historical places and heritage sites. So that's why don't you conduct the yoga program pre-events in various iconic cities and historic places in the backyard and put it on the global map. So we have started 100 days countdown program. So accordingly, now more than 50 programs are over with a huge success. Thousands of people are joining in each program. This has become a very great momentum for the IDY 2022. So this will lead to on as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav on 21st June. So we are going to have 75 iconic and heritage sites simultaneously, where each organization, one central ministries, and state government, and uh, eminent personalities like sports stars, film stars are going to participate so that it will become a huge public moment. So we are planning for a big way, and I do hope Ashichom will take a major step and identify one very good iconic place of historical importance. And so that on that day, whatever you are going to practice, it will become a global event. Third one is this time Guardian Ring from the Japan to North America. So we are starting the from the sunrise to sunset. So every time we are conducting 16 or more programs. So that is the event like this. We have a series of yoga events are being conducted. My request, a simple request to Ashichom is to why don't you identify 75 sub programs from Ashichom itself. And in, suppose I give one example, Indian Post. So they started doing it, and accordingly, so they started doing it, and now the main program is being done, but at this time, 50,000 post offices directly participate one day. So it's a huge participation all the postal offices in the entire India. So like this in the all the Ashichom branches in you do know your association. So make it 75 that it will be a, one of the major event for the be noted by the ministry and honorable prime minister. So then the target of 25 crores or more to join on that day will be fruitful. Then last point, why we need all these things. So whoever practice yoga regularly for 40 minutes, research shows and tradition also inform that. So we eat well. So we die well. We circulate well. We absorb well. We circulate well. So this is the thing what we are observing. The metabolism, all activities are always sleep, appropriate sleeping. So this second important aspect. Third important aspect is we are all human beings. We have always nobody wants the sorrow. So therefore, yeah. Am I audible, madam? Okay, my video has been stopped. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
please go ahead, Dr.
yeah,
Ishrat.
yeah. So the most importantly, happiness is most important thing in life. But yoga teaches us to how to be happy by sufficiently having the pleasures of worldly life. We are not, yoga is never denied the pleasures of worldly life. But there should be some judicious control. So when we do yoga and particularly meditation, breathing practices, so we can judiciously choose according to our need, according to our capacity. So that will bring you the satisfaction in life. So always this of satisfaction in our sensual pleasures, satisfaction at workplace, satisfaction at the family, all this leads to a, a peace of mind. So we at the end of the day, so we cannot achieve everything any always, but there is a judicious these things at the end of the day we can be at peace. When I go to sleep, so I fulfill all the responsibilities to optimum because I cannot do everything, but I did my best. This type of satisfaction every day, it will quantify the happiness. So that happiness, the empirical happiness, convert into a mental peace. So a person living in mental peace, such type of persons will constitute the entire global, because we the man is the social animal, society is the group of people, and people are living in peace or happiness, so they form the global cause for the global peace what we are talking about. So it's a long process, it's a philosophical concept seems to be, but I found made it a reality in our institute and in our centers. So wherever this time I went to Assam, I see the enthusiasm in the lot of youngsters, college students, girls, boys, they're all joining this moment. They are so happy. So I think so. Yeah, this so we can reduce the health burden. And now in the 2 years we are in the pandemic conditions. So yoga is one of the system which has come to rescue. Many people experience the importance of yoga, and also it's easy to apply. Only thing we have to spend some 45-50 minutes of our daily time. So it may be morning or evening or anything. It's not necessary that you have to do all the asanas. Do some breathing practices, do some relaxation, yoga nidra or meditation, and even modify your food habits, modify your sleep habit at least once or twice a week. So in the at the end of the week or end of the month, if you see the health quotient, there is a 100% improvement. With these type of things, we are initiating during this entire IDY campaign 2022. So I do hope that on 21st of June, when we are joining hands with the Honorable Prime Ministers from the main event and 75 iconic places, not only in India and 75 iconic places abroad also. So it will send a message in this very pandemic condition. And also world is facing a lot of crisis now. So this message from India should go on this very crucial junction. With these few words, once again, thank the organizers. Always they have shown a lot of love and affection for me. And I'm sorry because I'm traveling, but still I don't want to miss any ASHOM program. So we have very good friends there and we have very good association. Thank you once again. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ishwar. Thank you. It's very kind of you to, in spite of traveling and in spite of that busy schedule, you took out the time and you gave the address. A lot of very interesting things and very pertinent things that you pointed out, especially the culmination of the 100 days and the events, etc., and the choosing of the historical sites and the way internationally yoga is being, spread. Those are all very, very interesting and very good developments. So thank you for all those insights and all that knowledge and all those details that you shared with us. We will move on to the panel discussion now. And as a part of the panel, we have with us Ms. Sonavi. We also have the CEO of Neemrana Hotels. We also have Mr. Anurag Arora, Co-Chair, ASSOCHAM National Tourism Council, and Senior Vice President and Global Lead Indian Government Business, the VFS. And we also have Dr. Sudeepta Narayan Roy, who's the Chairman of ASSOCHAM Ayush National Task Force and Managing Director, Powell Group of Companies. I first invite Ms. Sonavi, the CEO of Neemrana Hotels, to give her address as part of the panel discussion. Thank you.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome on behalf of Neemrana Hotels. We're absolutely delighted to be the hospitality partners for this wonderful event. I welcome all the dignitaries present here. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Ministry of Ayush, the Morarji Desai Institute of Yoga, and ASSOCHAM for their great work towards promoting yoga, both at the national as well as the international level. As many of us lead hectic lives, we're traveling, we're busy, we have meetings, we don't always manage to take out the time to look after our own body and mind. Thus, yoga is by far the best way to actually calm a disturbed mind and to increase the overall well-being in a person. The regular practice of yoga is useful in not just maintaining good health, but it's also very important for good concentration and peace of mind. Yoga, needless to mention, is to promote better spiritual and emotional health. For me personally, yoga did wonders when I used to compete at the national level for golf and later also for Oxford University. It helped my overall fitness level and improved my concentration on the golf course, which is key. When we were juniors, this was an upcoming concept. And now I'm very, very glad that thanks to the ministry, there is awareness and every golfer is taught yoga from the very start. As a young mother, yoga also helped me to get back into shape and work out, not just balance my meetings, but also to balance my home responsibilities. The basics of yoga help improve one's breathing practices, posture, and overall health. It even reminds us to exercise our eyes, which is something that most human beings actually forget to do on a daily basis. At all the Neemrana properties, 60 Neemrana properties across India, we provide yoga mats so that guests that are traveling are able to continue their basic yoga routine even though they are away from their home. And this is something that we've been doing from the inception of the company. It's not something new. Further, at our flagship property, Neemrana Fort Palace in Rajasthan, we have been offering resident guests a complimentary 1-hour yoga session for the last 2 decades. And this is being done to promote yoga as a way of life. The hanging gardens and open spaces at Tijara Fort Palace, which is another very beautiful property in Rajasthan. It's a historical fort, has the most amazing hanging gardens, and guests can connect with themselves and they can also do yoga. At the Glass House on the Ganges in Rishikesh, we have had several yoga retreats, and we have the famous yogini, Dr. Shambhavi Chopra, who's also been conducting lots of retreats over here. So in totality, I would just like to conclude by saying that although it's a very gradual process, yoga should be a way of life for everyone. Besides working on the body and the mind and the soul, the regular practice of yoga cures many ailments without any side effects and improves our mental and physical health. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Sonavi. And thank you for, explaining how Rana, you've ensured that yoga is a way of life, and how, guests who check in there have the opportunity to continue to do that. And of course, as you mentioned at the Glass House in Rishikesh, you have the yoginis also there. So which is very wonderful, because also when people are vacationing and are at a place like this, they're more open to receiving, starting something. If they've not done yoga before, they'd probably start it there, So which is very, very nice and very encouraging. And now I'd like to invite Mr. Anurag Arora. Mr. Anurag Arora is the co-chair, ASSOCHAM National Tourism Council, and Senior Vice President and Global Lead Indian Government Business, the VFS. And I request him to give his address for today's Yoga Day.
Thank you very much. I mean, first of all, really heartfelt pranam to all of you. Today was a very special day. Yesterday we checked into one of the really beautiful property, Neemrana Fort Palace in Neemrana, and this was my first visit. I had heard a lot about it. And the kind of energy that place vibrates with has to be experienced, can't be described. And for me personally, when my fellow colleagues from the ASSOCHAM discussed holding this in a heritage property, the first name that sprang up in my mind was Neemrana Fort. And it was just not about the backdrop. It's about getting, it's like very incredible unison of heritage and culture and the youth of India together coming back. And that was quite exemplified in a very effective manner this morning when I was there, with 70 plus kids, youngsters in about 10 to 16 years age group. And they were there, they did this entire workshop on yoga, and the kind of energy that they kind of spread around and shared was absolutely overwhelming. I saw, and many of them, and the yogic postures, the asanas. It was a great experience for me personally. Today, so it's an important day, and today I would like to just briefly touch upon the way I look at yoga, and then I also want to look upon, share my personal experiences around what ASSOCHAM from the tourism perspective, especially in light of our Prime Minister's recent push to the entire government machinery on making yoga as a pivot for inbound tourism, especially the MICE tourism. We had conversations around it yesterday as well, and that's something that I would like to touch upon. So personally speaking, the way I look at yoga is, it's kind of it's about attitude towards life. It's a journey, and why I say a journey, because you can't just perfect any time, because look at it, there are 84 asanas, and with variations and all, it goes to about 8.4 million that Shiva used to have, like to perform those asanas, and Shiva is an Adi Yogi. And that is something that, so it's a journey. 8.4 million variations of asanas. So the whole idea is about how do we enjoy this journey. For me, it has dramatically altered my attitude towards life. We all know, and I've heard some amazing comments from my esteemed fellow panelist just a while ago on what this can do. And the way I look at it, is that are we in our professional life? And that is something that is so socially relevant. Using yoga as a therapy rather than just as a practice. There are yogic yoga practitioners, like any medical practitioners. That's something that we possibly might have to look at it. And there's a huge potential to be unlocked into this space. That how do we do that? And how do we make this as a pivot for the tourism? So quick ones from my side is that professionals go through a lot of stress, and companies are spending heavily. I've come to know recently, there was a research report, the companies are spending heavily on the wellness programs, especially during the pandemic. And if we can bring around ASSOCHAM, for example, institutions like us, and with the help and the blessings of Ministry of Ayush and the Honorable Prime Minister's initiative, if we can get these corporate sectors and government sectors to have a sizable, considerable, substantial portion of it, those budgets into creating yoga programs for the employees. Now, obviously there's a lot of focus on wellness. There are a lot of startups which company like my company has BFS Global, whom I work for. It has kind of tied up with quite a few startups that they're doing pretty well into this wellness space. But are we doing enough to get yoga into our life? Because once you ignite this in an individual, then it continues for life. It's not one time, and that's the journey that I am talking about. And coming back to the how to the question in our mind is today, how do we make it? Now, Prime Minister very significantly day before yesterday in his foreign visit talked about Chalo India program, the hashtag Chalo India. It's going viral, and in this program, we have to join hands, strengthen his hands, and the Ministry of Ayush's hands to make this, and the Ministry of Tourism's. So how do we do that? So this morning I was having this conversation, which I can share with you in this open platform, that we were talking about that heritage properties, like what Sonavi ji talked about, Nimrana, we experienced it this morning, and the glass house on the Ganges, Tijara Fort, or for that matter, Ramgarh, and all these places, plus many others from different groups, should come together as one force, maybe facilitated by ASSOCHAM. We will definitely do our bit. Is to get top 15, 16 MICE operators from the world and give them this experience. And those have to be selected by a committee to know that what they're going to do. And once they are here, to give them that experience, and when they go back, obviously. And I'll give you one example before I close this. I was posted in Colombia and Bogota as a head of the business development for Latin America and South America region. And there was an International Day of Yoga. This was in 2016 when it started, 2015, 16, I think, 2016. And there, the Embassy of India had started, done this program in a big park, expecting about 200 people. There were 2,000, and they were Colombians and Mexicans, and they were carrying their own mats and water bottles. Nobody invited them, possibly. It just went viral from one WhatsApp to another. And 2,000, and I was amazed. I told the ambassador, Mr. Prabhat Kumarji, he is right now back as secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs. I said, this is what it is. This is where it tells us that there's a huge amount of potential to be unlocked. How we are going to do it is our collective responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anuragji. And that was absolutely, very passionately put, and the whole concept of people coming together and making it a movement instead of it being in bits and pieces is definitely what it should be going forward. So thank you for that. And as a person who's, of course, going to speak to us last but not the least, I invite Dr. Sudeepta Narayan Roy, who's the chairman, the ASSOCHAM Ayush National Task Force, and the managing director of Powell Group of Companies, to give his address on the Day of Yoga today.
Namaskar, everybody. Respected dignitaries, respected Dr. Ishwar, my fellow chairpersons, Upashana ma'am and Anurag sir from ASOCHAM and my ASOCHAM team, and special thanks to Sonavi ma'am. Hope I have corrected your, spelled out your name correctly. Thank you for promoting yoga. Let me explain. I'm from healthcare industry, so I am a practicing doctor also. So let me share my experiences with the yoga. See, to, to me, yoga, as I see in the Western concept, now integrated medicine is a new concept. Hope you all know. So yoga, as seen by the Westerners, is just only about body, mind, spirit complex. This trichotomy, but in the Eastern concept or the Indian concept, the holistic healthcare system, it comprises of 5 dimensions. The anatomical body, which we call the Annamaya Kosha, is the outermost body, which we see. It's actually just heap of food. So first is that among the 5 dimension, and physiological body, or the prana, or the pranamaya kosha, which we call, is the second dimension. Third is the psychosoma. In today's day, it's a very relevant thing to talk about psychosoma, or the mind body. Then beyond mind is the wisdom, and the innermost part is the blissfulness, the blissful of us. So Dr. Ishwara was talking about happiness. So this blissfulness, it is also a dimension which is already within ourselves. So this inward journey of alignment of these 5 sheaths, or the 5 bodies, this process is known as yoga. And the purpose of yoga, if we can define in one line, is to finding the best version of yourself. You can call it in various names. There are basically 4 paths according to Swami Vivekananda. There are 4 paths to achieve this purpose. One is the path of knowledge, or jnana yoga, where you realize who you are. That is Atma Darshan. That's the purpose. Or through Bhakti Yoga, or the path of emotion, which talks about the union of Jivatman and the Paramatman. And there are other 2 ways. That is the Kriya Yoga, that is through the psychic control, and the last but not the least is the Karma Yoga, or the way of action. So the purpose is self-realization. There are 4 major paths. There are rather innumerable paths, but according to Patanjali and Swami Vivekananda, we can just consolidate into these 4 paths, and the process is the yoga of the alignment. Now, as a homeopath, I often treat patients with chronic diseases. Now, you must be knowing that this psychosomatic diseases, these are the most common things, the lifestyle diseases which we say. 75% of the population in India is suffering from psychosomatic derangements. So my experiences with these patients are really good with the yoga. Homeopathy is also a system of medicine which has a holistic approach. And I personally, since I am specialized into integrated medicine, so I incorporate yoga into the therapy system. So last week, I can just give you a lot of examples, but last week I with you that there was one young lady who was suffering from severe allergy. She came to me 21 days back, and last week was her. She was suffering from severe allergy with certain asthmatic conditions. She's just 19 years old. There was a history of disappointment, as we know, and in this age, quite a thing. And with a certain complex of psychological complex, constitutional homeopathic treatment with a yogic diet means yogic diet. We find there are a lot of yogic diets, but for different kind of patients, we prescribe type of diets, especially when someone is coming with allergy. We tend to restrict certain animal proteins for them, and with that diet modification and just only pranayama was prescribed to her for 21 days. Now all the symptoms has been eradicated. She's not suffering from that allergy, neither any asthmatic attack. There is no single asthmatic 15 to 20 days. So that's a great thing which I wanted to share. Another person who came back to me last week after 1 month. This was a corporate, 40 years old corporate honcho. You know, this in today's corporate world, how stressful it is, especially post-pandemic. So this person was suffering from obesity, dyslipidemia, hypertension, and beta blockers, 2 of hypertensive medicines. So these 2 medicines, I think Upasana ma'am would be agreeing with me. These medicines are something, once you start medicine, so prescribed homeopathy with, along with, I just told that person not to stop any allopathic medicine without taking his cardiologist's opinion, but gave him an endocrinological modification yogic chart. I just prescribed him Dhanurasana, Sarvangasana, Matsasana, and Sasakasana. These were the 4 prescriptions which was given by me, and within this 1 month, and yes, I prescribed him an Agya Chakra meditation because he was very restless and he was quite lot of things. So end of the month, his cardiologist has stopped his beta blocker. He is now only on ACE inhibitors with hypertension almost cured, and his within 1 month his lipid profile, which was the triglyceride was more than 400, came down to 250. So I can call it that dyslipidemia is also controlled through yoga. So these are the few cases which I thought I should share with you. So there are n number of cases like this. So what yoga can do in to cure chronic diseases, I can go on and on for the whole day. I can share my experiences with my patients. And with my personal experience, let me talk about, since Sonavi ma'am was also sharing her experience. In my college days, I used to be a rifle shooter. I competed lot many state and even national level competitions, and I was a powerlifting champion too. So these are the 2 things which was really opposite of dimension. So yoga was the bridge to balance me in both the cases. I used to practice yoga, and for that reason, in both the sports, I excelled. So this is my own personal experience also. And as ASSOCHAM National Task Force Chairman, I congratulate everyone for such a nice event today. And I am thankful to everyone that you are promoting yoga in this manner. And I request my ASSOCHAM Delhi team that please to arrange some programs in eastern part of India also. We are ready to go all out for that. And I would request Dr. select some of the places in Calcutta also to as a heritage place, and hopefully forward. Thank you very much. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Roy. Thank you, Dr. Sudipta Roy, and thank you for talking about how you've been using yoga to actually treat diseases and how it's been part of the integrative wellness that you promote. I basically practice functional medicine. That is what I do, Dr. Roy. And although we work with mainstream modern hospitals, I work with Max Hospital now, and nutrition is my specialty. But I, of course, have been practicing functional medicine. What you spoke of, I relate with very well, because I correctly said that things like ACE inhibitors and medications for reducing hypertension and high cholesterols and high blood sugars, I would go to the extent of saying that those are a bit like painting a leaky wall, really, where you're constantly every day painting that leaky wall with a pharmaceutical drug. Whereas the actual treatment of these things and lifestyle diseases or the non-communicable diseases, it goes back to our lifestyles. And one of the very good ways of correcting our lifestyles, besides changing our food, is to practice, healing therapies like yoga, and which is, of course, not just, empowering your body and making it stronger and healthier, but also, as you mentioned, the psychosomatic component of it, which means a mind which is more at rest, more peaceful, more calmer. Physiologically, if you look at it, it's basically activating your parasympathetic nervous system and allowing your body to be in a state of calmness. And so obviously, I think these things have to be revived, and they have to be given the status of mainstream treatment methodologies, and not just some alternative science or some things that you can practice for health. But they have the power of reversing diseases, and that's what is extremely powerful. And that's the positioning that science in the integrative space should get, and specifically yoga, also because it's native to our country. It's something that's ingrained into ours, and it's ours, really. It's ours. So if the world is benefiting from it, why not we go ahead and embrace it more beautifully? And so thank you all for all your beautiful addresses. It's been really a wonderful time today. Thank you, ASSOCHAM, for hosting the conference. And thank you everybody for taking out your valuable time, Dr. Upasana, Dr. Ishwar, Ms. Sunavi, of course, Dora and Dr. Roy. And we look forward to having many more of these sessions, a lot of more talk about yoga, spreading it to many more people, and making it a force to reckon with, really.
Yeah, Manjri, allow me to invite Upasana ma'am for the vote of thanks, please. Upasana ma'am, please.
Thank you very much. And I must say thanks to the Ministry of Ayush and of ASSOCHAM, as well as all the speakers. And a special thanks to Nimra, because they are organizing it in a very good way, and everyone is so happy there. So my all thanks to you, and a special thanks to ASSOCHAM, because they are organizing such a wonderful and meaningful program, which is very important. How important yoga is in our life, that is a message we need to convey to all those also who are not practicing yoga. So I want that yoga should be reached to each and every home, and to each and everybody. So thank you so much for all the speakers who has taken time out from their busy schedule. Thanks Manjri for moderating this session, and thank you everyone. Thanks Payal also, because Payal is the one who is making us always, busy with some programs. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.